Tony Bellew once said, "The only way a man on this earth will ever beat Oleksandr Usyk will be by size and not by skill. He believes no man will ever beat Usyk by skill." And this is a former cruiserweight world champion and someone who, despite getting knocked out by Oleksandr Usyk, ironically probably got very close to beating Usyk in the rounds, albeit before he got knocked out. He was having a lot of success, but in the end, he said, Oleksandr Usyk just mentally exhausts you. His head movement, his angles, doesn't stop moving. He exhausts you by, his movement and just thinking so much. You have no idea what he's going to do next. And ultimately, that's why Bowie said that he beat him. He just couldn't keep up with the pace, the skill, having to think so much. I think it's worth noting that Bellew was coming down from heavyweight, so he had lost a lot of weight. So obviously that could probably have played a part as well. Losing all that weight is very tiring. It's a lot for the body to adjust to, and your punch resistance generally gets worse as well. So of course, if Oleksandr Usyk can only be beaten by size, well, who has size? Tyson Fury, of course. 6'9", giant, big bloke, is one of his greatest tactics is he exhausts his opponents by leaning on them in the clinch. He puts all of his weight on his opponent to tire them out. We saw this with Deontay Wilder, and I think it's why he struggled so much against Ngannou. He just couldn't, wear him out with the clinch. We saw it whenever Fury tried to put all his weight on Ngannou. Ngannou just lifted him up like a ragdoll. And obviously styles make fights, and Ngannou, probably a bad style for Tyson Fury, but a good style for Joshua, as we saw. So this is why I believe that Tyson Fury could have the tools to beat Oleksandr Usyk. Obviously, in a previous video, I have said that I believe Oleksandr Usyk will win, but playing devil's advocate and to give some credit to the Fury fans, I'm going to try and see, how could Tyson Fury win this fight? Obviously, the main advantage is size. Does he have anything else? Well, I think his second biggest advantage is the fact that Tyson Fury needs a bad performance in order to have a good one. He underperformed against Otto Wallin, and his next performance was one of his best. His second performance against Deontay Wilder. We know that Tyson Fury needs a reason to go up for a fight. And Ngannou just wasn't it. An MMA star who he probably wrote off before he started. Didn't see him as a threat. So, wouldn't have been training as hard and therefore didn't perform as well. But when he has a reason to get up for it, boy, does he get up for it, The reason he got himself out of, his mental health struggles was because he saw Deontay Wilder and, that was his focus. He said, look, this guy, I'm going to take him down. And that was it. That was the force he needed, No one else had ever beaten Wilder. Everyone was saying he was the strongest puncher the heavyweight division's ever seen. So he said, look, that's my mission. I'm going to take it out. He probably didn't have that for, Ngannou, White, Chisora, but now he has it again. And I think those are two of the biggest strengths of Tyson Fury and why he could prove a very viable threat for Oleksandr Usyk. My main concern would be, it does look like he has slowed down. The stats suggest he is throwing a lot less feints. He isn't moving, and he isn't moving as much, isn't throwing as many punches as he has done in the past. Obviously, this was against Ngannou. This could be, as I said, he just wasn't up for the fight. Didn't see him as a threat. Although I'm sure he did train, and his good friend Tom Aspinall, MMA star, said, he has friends in the Fury camp. They said he did train for it. But are you going to go 110% against someone you don't see as a viable threat? Probably not. However, Fury does see Usyk as a viable threat. And I think we can see this because at the press conference, Fury is having a go at him. You sausage. You jumped up middleweight. He's throwing all these insults at him because he knows this guy is a viable threat. When he fights guys that aren't viable threats, he tries to build them up. He did this with White, Chisora, and Ngannou. Oh, this guy, yeah, he's brilliant. Oh, he's going to really come and put it on me. Because he knows deep down these guys can't compete with him. But when he does have a viable threat, Wilder, Klitschko, Usyk, he has to start that mental warfare. He has to insult them. And he is an absolute master of, getting in someone's head. I think it's the reason he beat Klitschko. Mentally, he was just defeated before the fight. There was that story of the sauna where they ended up in the same sauna, and, Tyson Fury stayed in there for longer. Klitschko, left before he did. And Fury knew, right, I've got him. Mentally, I'm tougher than him. And all the shit he talked to the press conference rattled Klitschko and clearly worked. I don't think Usyk has been rattled to the same effect, because he has a very clever tactic where he lets his manager do all the talking for him, and he just kind of sits there and analyzes. If you've ever seen it, like the video interviews, Usyk's kind of in the corner and his manager's in the centre frame. And Usyk will claim his English isn't that good, but his English is pretty good. I think he just likes to sit back and analyse. And to be fair, I don't think Usyk has been rattled too much so far. He looks like he's stayed pretty stoic, hasn't been too rattled. So obviously as we get closer, it will be interesting to see how things unfold. And I think the postponement might definitely annoyed Usyk. He was ready for it. And this guy has postponed it twice. So he's probably frustrated. I don't know, it could go two ways. It could be like, I'm going to make this guy pay. I missed the birth of was it his daughter or his son? He missed the birth of one of his childs in a long training camp. This guy's messing me around. So it could be like, it could make him pay. Or is he going to be rattled? Is he going to be off his game because he's so consumed by, anger? You want to box. You don't necessarily want to fight always. Especially since Usyk has such a high boxing IQ. So, yeah. And obviously, Usyk, the thing with Danny the Boy is a lot of people say he showed weaknesses, but I don't think he was boxing as good as he could do, because I think he went there to knock the boy out. You can see he kind of stood in the pocket a bit more. He was willing to exchange instead of kind of, sitting back a bit more the way he did with Anthony Joshua. So I think although people give him criticism, I think Usyk knew that was going to happen and went there to knock him out. And, in my opinion, it was a low blow. I don't think there's too much controversy there. And say the ref didn't see it as a low blow, we have no idea that Usyk wouldn't have just got up, in a 10 count. So it's very speculative to say that he lost that day. Well, I guess I'm saying he lost because he didn't lose, did he? He won pretty much every round, even though the bar did all right. It's funny, like Usyk's so good that you cannot win like any rounds against him, and you can still say you've had a good performance against him. But yeah, I mean, those are the reasons I think it's dangerous to write Tyson Fury off. And although I'm still going with my prediction that Usyk will win on points, I just thought I would give a reminder as to why Tyson Fury is a very dangerous threat. He's undefeated, beaten everyone in his path. Although the Ngannou was a bad night for him, you can spin it and say, look, even when he underperformed, still won. Klitschko, Wilder, 2 times, should be 3 times. Volin, White, good names on his record. And I think that Fury knows he needs a win. I think that'll help him get up to the fight, His name's probably lost a bit of value, because Joshua's kind of making a lot of light of his former opponent. Warren, who he went to war with, Joshua got rid of. Ngannou, he had a lot of difficulty with. Ngannou got rid of. Wilder had a lot of trouble with. Parker got rid of. So, yeah. Maybe it's a sign that Fury's on the decline, or maybe this will be the spark Fury needs to really get him up for it. And look, he looked in good shape just before the cut. He now has even longer to prepare for it, which is probably a good thing. And he's looking slim. He's training hard. He's got a lot of money. He's got everything to fight for, everything to lose. So, yeah, there are some reasons why I think Tyson Fury has a good chance of winning. Leave me your thoughts in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.